Alright guys, welcome to the channel. My garage is a mess, so I'm just going to keep the camera pointed right here where we're doing this work. Today we're going to retip this rod. I'm going to show you all how I do that real quick. It's pretty easy, takes a little force. Sometimes I break the tip, but it'll still work out. So reasons I may end up needing to do this: obvious reasons like breaking the tip of your rod or smashing it in the door, but also, like the case for this rod, is that it's a cheaper rod with a cheaper eye tip, tip eye, and if you use braided line on these, I doubt you can really see it, and this one's kind of messed up anyway, but eventually you'll wear a groove in your eye tip, and it'll catch your braid. It'll either give it drag or it'll even potentially break your line. So every now and then you may need to either replace the rod or replace the tip. In this case, we're going to attempt to replace the tip. So what I want to do first is heat up the epoxy that is holding this sucker together in the first place, right at the seam. You can see it starting to heat up there. Should loosen the adhesive and slide right off. So that's step one down. So then what you want to do is use something to remove a little of the extra adhesive around here. The new tip can butt right up to this old epoxy here, so that you'll have a smooth transition. So no need to really remove that, as long as this area here at the tip is clean. I'm going to use this old bayonet because, who doesn't have an old bayonet laying around? You don't really want to end up shaving the rod itself. You just want to make sure that any adhesive is gone. So that's pretty good there. So that way the new tip will slide on nice and easy. And this is the kit. I've already used the biggest one out of here to repair a surf rod, but there are smaller ones in here that will work. This is a Jawbone, which is what is that? Is that Dick's or Academy? One of those. I think it's the Academy store brand. This is the 7-foot. Yeah, 7-foot, 10 to 20 pound medium heavy. So it's been a really great rod, which is why I really wanted to try and repair it. For the price, I think it was like 19 bucks or something like that. Yeah, the smallest tip works great on this. It's actually a little loose, so we'll make sure to smear a good amount of the adhesive on there. I won't need to get weird with that. I don't need that. That's the old tip. Let's throw that away. Move that out of the way. Not using that one, using that one. So now what you want to do is, I've already used this a little bit, but this paper is loose. It'll slide down. You can use it as the handle, and then you give your lighter a flick your bic or whatever, and do this business right here. I'm heating up the glue. For about 3 to 5 seconds. You might see it flame up a little bit. That means it's definitely ready. And then schmutz up your tip a little bit. That's probably more than necessary. You can use the cooler section to wipe off excess. Get rid of all that stringy bit there. Put that on the edge of the table. And then we're going to slide this guy on. And then you can look down the rod to make sure that you line your eyes up nicely there. You gotta have lined up eyes. That's like is that a metaphor for life? Feels like a metaphor for life. I actually have a bent one here. That one's not in line with the rest. So we'll take care of that at some point here in a little bit, but as long as it's in line-ish, we should be good. It's already starting to set there. So then I'm just going to heat this bit up a little bit and use the glue stick to smooth that out with the side of the stick a little bit. And then if you get anywhere else, just let it dry for a second and it'll kind of peel off like rubber cement. But that, make sure I hold it for the camera here so you can see it real good like. That should be a repaired tip. Now if you want to go one step farther, you can cover that. You can get some of the clear. I'm going to let that sit here and cure for a nice while, maybe even overnight. So that's dried all the way through, but it really doesn't take a whole long time. But you can cover this, get some clear nail polish and cover that in a clear nail polish, and that will work as a coating, or even some UV resin, some epoxy or something like that if you really want to get crazy with it. But honestly, just the glue has worked fine for me. As long as you let it sit there and cure for a nice long while before you use it and let it set, you should be good to go. So that's repairing a rod tip. Took me about 5 minutes.